sets of parameters as variables. One is the physical, the other is the chemical, and the third is the biological. All this mulch comes under that biological category. Chemicals come to the petrochemical industry, and the physical is given by God, I presume, right? In that ecosystem, we are intervening with species, locations, seasons, plant life cycle. So that's what we are working on. Tell me of this entire ecosystem, where should I intervene to enhance water use efficiency? The reason that's one question. The attendant question is, look, we must understand that people need a food basket, right? A food basket would need coffee, would need sugar, etc., etc. What is being pushed is to shift from some crops to another crop, right? Just because it is water, it uses less water. But that's a very wrong way of looking at it. In these two variables, where should we intervene to start with making water use more efficient? Point one. Point two, should it not be across the board rather than shift? The whole emphasis on millets is because of some other reason. Let's know that. The politics of those conversations. Not that millets are wrong, they're excellent. But that's my first set of questions. The second is that you're right, that farmers are not practicing what you're recommending, right? Now I hold one logic with you. You say that field capacity to wilting point is the science. On what is it based on? Can you explain the science of that logic? Why does farmer measure the moisture? Why does a farmer over-apply water even in drip and sprinkler system? So where do you think our measurement devices are at fault? Our agendas lie elsewhere.
Okay. So there are three things what you rightly said. So it is an interplay of the physical soil, the chemistry that goes on, and intertwined by the biology. So that is the milieu in which the plant has to grow, survive, yield the food crops that we want to eat. Number one, that we are not saying that if it is a high guzzler of water, please stop using it. We are saying that we are only identifying, and that needs to be, you cannot shift a plant which requires high water to arid area and try to irrigate it and try to grow it. We are only saying that this needs to be in its own native place, right? So that the water available there can help it grow. Secondly, when we look at the efficient in terms of water usage, right? Say, for example, the millets. Now, they have two important characteristics. Water carries along all the soluble fertigation, pesticides, and all of that. When low amount of water is used, actually these millets and other rugged plants actually use less or none of the pesticides and other chemicals. And the requirements are also very low. Therefore, in a holistic view, if you look at water when being used, will dissolve all of these chemicals and nicely take it all over the place, and the residue of pesticides have their own effects that we see over a period of time. Now, similarly, if we are looking at the interplay of all of these and where the farmer is, the whole challenge with us is that not that we have an equipment to measure the residual water or the soil water demand at each and every place, but even whatever satellite data and other data which are freely available and disseminated are not being used, right? And they are not being used, and whatever traditional practices continue to do that. And that is where my submission is that is where the change is required. When we know that there is a possibility and there is an alternative available here, and that is also known to him, and that is where we see that if that is done, then I think the efficiency of water use will increase. His own produce will increase. And if he gets a higher yield, obviously he's going to earn more. And therefore, once he tries these kinds of things, he will actually adopt those practices. So best practices are those which are now ecologically and economically remunerative to the farmer. If they are non-remunerative, obviously you cannot push the farmer to that particular direction. So all of these that I have listed have been starting points. Many of the startups, some of the wonderful startups are there, which have given a lot of information to farmers in terms of disseminating the date-wise irrigation, fertigation, right? Pest disease forecast, all of them are being given to them. But only thing is that whether there is pest or not, he will want to spray, right? Because the neighbor sprayed or because the chemical guy sold it to him on on credit or so on and so. So we are not saying change anything, not shift from guzzling. So you need sugar, you need cotton, you need oil. So these crops are fundamental crops and we require all of these. But we are only understanding that these are the ones which require more water. These are the ones which are require less water. And in a drought season, it is better to go for crop which is drought resistant rather than trying to pull water from all resources and then try to grow a crop which demands higher water.